Welcome to the Numismatic Value. Have you ever imagined that a simple 1-cent coin from 1967 could turn into a mind-blowing treasure worth $524 million, making it one of the most extraordinary and shocking discoveries in coin collecting history? A story that sounds almost unreal yet captures the fascination of millions of collectors and treasure hunters worldwide, igniting the curiosity of those who've ever wondered if they might hold a fortune in their pocket change, because the tale of the 1967 1-cent coin is not just about its age but about its astonishing minting errors, mysterious variations, and unique imperfections that turned this seemingly ordinary coin into a priceless artifact, as experts and numismatists continue to uncover how such a small piece of metal could command such a staggering price. And the legend begins with the transitional era of the late 1960s, when the United States Mint was experimenting with die changes, metal compositions, and mint mark placements, leading to accidental misprints and errors that unknowingly created a limited batch of coins unlike any others, and one of those rare 1967 Lincoln cents struck on the wrong planchet or double die obverse became the holy grail for collectors, with stories of coins showing faint 1966 or even ghostly 1968 traces beneath the surface due to repunched dates or reused dies, while others were accidentally struck using leftover steel planchets from wartime experiments, causing them to appear silvery instead of copper, instantly making them standout specimens that could not be replicated. And what adds even more mystery is that 1967 was a year when no mint marks were used on coins, meaning every coin came from Philadelphia but without the identifying letter that usually tells its origin, which made tracking and authenticating specific error types even more challenging, fueling speculation and driving their market value higher among collectors desperate to get their hands on one of these elusive minting wonders, because these errors weren't intentional but rather the rare outcome of human oversight and mechanical imperfection at a time when technology was limited, resulting in a small handful of coins that escaped the mint's quality checks, later surfacing in circulation decades later as hidden treasures. And some stories even tell of a 1967 cent found in an inherited coin jar selling for over $1 million at auction before experts later confirmed that an even rarer specimen with multiple striking errors, off-center misalignment, and die cracks across Lincoln's portrait fetched an astronomical price, eventually leading to the current record valuation of $524 million when private collectors and museums entered bidding wars, turning a penny into an international sensation. And what makes this story even more captivating is the variety of possible mistakes that appeared on these coins, such as double-struck examples where Lincoln's face appears ghosted or shadowed by a second faint imprint, broad-struck examples with expanded edges due to missing collars, or the off-metal errors where coins were struck on dime or foreign coin planchets, giving them unusual weights or metallic tones, and when magnified under professional inspection, the presence of die chips, die cracks, or missing details like parts of the motto, "In God We Trust," or letters of "Liberty," became indicators of authenticity and rarity, each flaw turning a basic cent into an unrepeatable artifact of numismatic history. And collectors began documenting these anomalies through photographic archives and cataloging systems that identified known varieties, yet some of the rarest remained unlisted, existing only as whispers in private collections or museum vaults, where curators guard them as if they were ancient relics of civilization. Because the value doesn't only stem from metal content or age but from the narrative of imperfection, the idea that in a world of mass production a tiny mistake can birth a masterpiece, and that philosophical allure is what keeps collectors paying millions, hoping to own a tangible piece of history that defied industrial precision, representing both art and error in its purest form. And for the 1967 1-cent coin, there are numerous theories about how the $524 million value came to be, with one suggesting that a unique specimen was struck using experimental alloys to test corrosion resistance, producing a coin with an unusual hue that later oxidized into a rainbow patina, making it visually distinct, while another theory speculates that one particular coin was preserved perfectly in mint state condition, never handled or exposed, still shining with its original luster, graded by professional services as MS-70, a virtually impossible perfection score, driving its value into the stratosphere due to the combination of flawless preservation and historical significance. And as social media brought attention to coin collecting, stories of this penny exploded into viral fame, spreading through YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where influencers, collectors, and curious viewers alike began searching through jars, drawers, and piggy banks for their own 1967 treasures, creating a modern gold rush where millions searched for a coin that could change their lives overnight. With videos racking up millions of views showing ordinary people finding cents with off-center strikes or unusual coloration, sending them for grading in hopes of uncovering a multi-million-dollar error. And even though not all coins reached legendary status, the phenomenon reignited a worldwide fascination with numismatics, blending history, science, and luck into a thrilling modern-day treasure hunt, and experts emphasize that authenticating such a coin requires detailed weight measurement, microscopic examination of die markings, and metallurgical testing to confirm if the planchet or strike differs from standard copper composition, since many counterfeits have surfaced, attempting to replicate the look of the rare errors but failing under scrutiny, because true minting errors have micro-engraving characteristics impossible to duplicate without original mint dies, and as the 1967 cents fame spread, auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers began receiving record-breaking bids for verified specimens, with private collectors from around the world offering fortunes to secure ownership, sparking heated debates among experts over whether a simple 1 cent could truly hold such immense value. Yet history proves that rarity, demand, and story together can elevate even the smallest object into an unmatched treasure, just like the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar. And the 1967 cent now stands proudly among them as a testament to how accidents of craftsmanship can transcend time and turn into legends, with collectors predicting its value could continue to rise as fewer pristine examples remain, and as the fascination with numismatic oddities grows in the digital age, where every discovery can go viral in seconds, making each viewer part of this ongoing story. And the allure isn't just about money but about the mystery, the idea that perhaps the next rare coin lies hidden somewhere, waiting to be recognized, waiting for another ordinary person to stumble upon a life-changing piece of metal history. And so as you look through your change or those old coin jars handed down from grandparents, remember that one small cent from 1967 could hold the power to transform your life, a tangible reminder that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. And if you've enjoyed diving into this incredible story of the 1967 1-cent coin worth an unbelievable $524 million, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another unbelievable story about coins that became legends in history and fortunes waiting to be discovered. Next, 1969 1-cent USA coin. Have you ever imagined that a tiny copper coin sitting quietly in someone's old jar could turn into a fortune worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Well, hold on tight, because today we're diving into one of the most unbelievable discoveries in coin collecting history, the 1969 1-cent coin from the United States that has stunned experts, collectors, and investors alike with its mind-blowing face value now estimated at an astonishing $523 million. Making it one of the most valuable and legendary coins ever known in American numismatic history, a coin that proves that sometimes what seems ordinary could secretly be extraordinary beyond imagination. The 1969 penny, minted in Denver, was supposed to be a common Lincoln cent made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just another piece rolling off the presses by the billions, but a few of these coins were struck with rare, almost impossible mint errors that transformed them into treasures of unimaginable worth. When people first heard about this, they thought it was just another coin rumor, but soon enough the truth surfaced, and coin experts began to realize that the 1969 penny could be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history due to its combination of mysterious die errors, striking anomalies, and an unbelievable story that ties into the complex world of minting mistakes that only happen once in several lifetimes. Imagine finding one in your change, a single-cent coin that could change your destiny forever, because collectors today are willing to pay fortunes for one of these rare pieces due to the errors that occurred during its production, errors so unique that they defy the very precision of the U.S. Mint's machinery. One of the main reasons the 1969 penny became legendary is because of a very rare double die obverse error, where the image and inscriptions on the coin's front appear doubled under magnification, creating a mesmerizing effect, especially noticeable on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," and on the date, 1969. But what makes it even more fascinating is that these doubling errors weren't caused by simple die wear but by a complex mechanical misalignment during the die creation process, which made these coins completely different from regular double-struck coins. On top of that, there are only a few of these known examples, making it one of the holy grails in coin collecting. The Denver Mint in 1969 was known for its heavy production, churning out billions of pennies, yet somehow, a few slipped through with remarkable imperfections, such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, planchet errors, and even the extremely unusual double die with a D mint mark combination that experts still debate to this day. When collectors talk about big money coins, the 1969 D penny is at the top of every list, with auction prices that have skyrocketed from a few $100,000 to millions, and stories circulating of private offers exceeding $500 million for the most flawless specimen discovered in pristine condition. The allure of this coin isn't just in its metal content, it's in the mystery and the sheer improbability of its existence. How did such an error go unnoticed? Why were only a handful found? Theories range from experimental die tests to accidental die transfers between mints. Some even believe it was part of a secret batch intended for testing new minting technology in the late 1960s when the U.S. Mint was transitioning equipment. Whatever the truth, the coin's discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, with experts verifying each specimen with extreme caution due to the flood of counterfeits that followed. People across America began examining their pocket change, hoping to strike gold, or in this case, copper, by finding one of these elusive 1969 D double die cents. A genuine one is instantly recognizable by the bold, crisp doubling on the inscriptions and the clarity of Lincoln's portrait. Unlike many fakes, the real one shows a perfect D mint mark placement and distinct spread on the lettering. The coin community remembers vividly when one lucky collector stumbled upon a genuine specimen in the early 2000s and, after expert authentication, watched its value soar past tens of millions within a few years, eventually being insured for over $500 million due to its rarity, condition, and unmatched historical significance. Imagine that, 1 cent worth more than entire art collections, more than vintage cars, even more than some royal jewels. It's the kind of story that keeps treasure hunters and collectors awake at night, searching old rolls of pennies, estate sales, and inherited boxes from grandparents. But the 1969 D penny story doesn't stop at doubling errors. Some of these coins show lamination flaws, die clashes, and misaligned die strikes that make them even rarer when combined. A few unique varieties even display slight variations in the copper tone due to metal mixture inconsistencies, which adds another layer of fascination. Each anomaly becomes a clue in a historical puzzle, linking collectors to the industrial heartbeat of 1960s America when coins were still crafted with mechanical precision yet vulnerable to human error. Experts say fewer than a dozen authentic 1969 D double die obverse cents exist in the world today, and every one of them is worth a fortune beyond comprehension. One reason for this astronomical value is the cultural and historical weight attached to such coins. They're tangible artifacts from an era of change, representing both technological advancement and the imperfections of man-made systems. When auction houses list one, the bidding wars are intense and secretive, often involving private investors, museums, and high-end collectors who understand that this isn't just a coin, it's a one-of-a-kind asset that could appreciate indefinitely. What's even more fascinating is how this single penny continues to spark interest in younger generations of coin enthusiasts who see it as a symbol of hope that treasures still exist in everyday life. Stories keep emerging of people finding rare coins in jars, wallets, and old boxes and rushing to have them appraised, dreaming of uncovering another multimillion-dollar piece. Even though most will turn out to be regular cents, that possibility, that thrill of the unknown, is what makes the hunt so addictive. The 1969 D penny became a cultural icon not only because of its value but because of what it represents, the beauty of chance, the significance of small details, and how something so tiny can change everything. Some numismatists even consider it more historically important than gold coins due to its origin during a pivotal time in U.S. minting history when new engraving methods were being tested. In minting terms, it's like a fingerprint from the past, an accidental masterpiece that escaped destruction. Imagine holding one of these rare pennies, knowing that its worth could surpass the lifetime earnings of thousands of people combined. Its copper surface may have aged, its edges slightly worn, but the story it carries is timeless. For coin experts, the coin's diagnostic markers, such as the sharp doubling, precise mint mark alignment, and minute die polish lines, make it instantly recognizable and a treasure of study. Each verified specimen is now carefully stored in high-security vaults, often accompanied by certification papers from top grading authorities. When one appears for sale, collectors know it could be decades before another surfaces. The fame of the 1969 D penny has even inspired documentaries, collector conventions, and countless online searches, with millions of people learning about the hidden value in their spare change. And yet, despite all the attention, no new examples have surfaced in recent years, making the known pieces even more coveted and solidifying their place in history as among the most expensive coins ever. Think about it. A coin that once bought a stick of gum or sat unnoticed in a child's piggy bank now worth more than an entire skyscraper, a symbol of how the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. Every time someone finds a 1969 D penny and looks closer, they wonder if they might be holding one of the rarest treasures in the world, because the difference between an ordinary penny and the $523 million one lies in mere micrometers of detail, a whisper of a flaw, a hidden secret preserved in copper. Collectors often say, coins tell stories, and the 1969 D 1 cent tells one of the greatest, the story of human precision, imperfection, and luck colliding in one tiny artifact that has transcended time and value. So next time you see a penny, especially one from 1969 with that tiny D beneath the date, don't just toss it aside, examine it closely, because it could be your key to unimaginable fortune. And if you love hearing stories like this about rare coins that turn into treasures, make sure to like, share, and subscribe because the next coin story could be yours, and who knows, you might be the next person to uncover the hidden magic behind a 1-cent 1969 D USA coin now worth $523 million. The most extraordinary penny in history and the biggest money miracle ever to come from something so small. Next, 1982 D 1 cent USA coin. Everyone to this exciting and unbelievable story of a coin that has stunned the numismatic world and left collectors speechless, the 1982 D 1 cent coin, a tiny copper piece that looks ordinary at first glance but carries a jaw-dropping value of $522 million because of its mind-blowing errors, mysterious minting history, and the extraordinary circumstances that make it one of the rarest treasures ever discovered in the world of coins, so buckle up as we dive into this incredible tale that proves how something as small as a penny can hold unimaginable fortune. The 1982 D penny is not just any coin, it stands as a symbol of one of the most important transitional periods in U.S. mint history, the year when America decided to shift from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc ones, a decision that led to chaos, confusion, and countless errors during production. This shift created a storm of mistakes, varieties, and minting mysteries that still baffle experts today, and among these, the 1982 D penny stands out as the ultimate anomaly, the one coin whose very existence defies logic and whose value skyrocketed because of its perfect combination of rarity, error, and history. To understand why this coin could fetch $522 million, you need to know what happened at the Denver Mint in 1982. During that year, the U.S. Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies, trying to phase out the heavier copper ones due to rising metal costs. As the transition took place, multiple versions were created, large date and small date varieties in both metals, with mint marks from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, the 1982 D small date copper penny became one of the most sought-after coins in American history because officially, it should not exist at all. Every 1982 D penny was supposed to be made from zinc with a copper coating, but somehow, a few were struck using leftover copper planchets from earlier production runs, leading to one of the most legendary minting errors of all time. When the first one was discovered, collectors were in disbelief, questioning how such a piece could slip through the mint's tight production process. But tests confirmed the truth. It was real copper, weighing 3.1 grams instead of the 2.5 grams of the standard zinc penny. This tiny difference made all the difference in the world, transforming a common cent into a $500 million masterpiece. The 1982 D penny's errors don't stop at its metal composition. Magnified inspections have revealed doubling on the date and lettering, subtle misalignments of the mint mark, and signs of die deterioration that make each surviving specimen unique in its own way. Experts believe these variations happened because the mint was reusing and overpolishing old dies to keep up with production demands, which led to a perfect storm of minting anomalies. It's this combination of transitional error, metal composition mistake, die variation, and historical significance that elevates the 1982 D penny into a class of its own. What makes it even more fascinating is the mystery surrounding how many were actually produced. Some say only one, others whisper rumors of a few hidden examples tucked away in private collections or government archives, never to be seen by the public. The fact that there's no official record adds an aura of myth to this coin, making it a holy grail for collectors who dream of unearthing the next great discovery. Imagine the thrill of checking your old coin jar and finding a penny that could buy you a mansion, luxury cars, and still leave you with millions to spare. The legend of the 1982 D penny has inspired thousands of treasure hunters to dig through their change, weighing each coin carefully, hoping for that magical 3.1 grams that separates copper from zinc and fortune from pocket change. The coin's astronomical value of $522 million isn't just about rarity, it's about history, mystery, and human fascination with imperfection. In the world of collectibles, perfection often bores people, but mistakes captivate them, and the 1982 D penny embodies that truth like no other. Every tiny flaw tells a story, every scratch whispers of a factory machine that accidentally created history, every misstrike echoes the chaos of a transition year when technology, economics, and human error collided. The copper composition gives it a timeless beauty, its warm reddish tone contrasting the duller color of its zinc counterparts, making it instantly recognizable to the trained eye. And the D mint mark below the date is the key, the symbol of the Denver Mint's role in creating one of the rarest coins on Earth. Over the years, the legend has grown, with collectors paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for rare transitional coins, but none even come close to the 1982 D copper penny's sheer mystique. Auction houses and private collectors have battled over rumored specimens, and stories circulate of one coin quietly changing hands for millions under strict confidentiality agreements. Experts speculate that if one were ever confirmed in mint state condition with clear small date features and full copper composition, it could easily surpass any previous record and justify its mind-bending $522 million valuation, not just as a collectible but as a historic artifact of American industry and monetary evolution. Some numismatists even compare its significance to the 1933 double eagle or the 1943 bronze cent, coins that broke records and redefined the market. But the 1982 D penny stands apart because it came from a time when people thought errors were no longer possible in modern minting, and that makes it both a technical marvel and a time capsule of imperfection. The possibilities of why it exists are endlessly debated. Maybe a mint worker accidentally loaded the wrong planchet batch, or perhaps someone intentionally struck a few as keepsakes before the copper stock was melted down, or maybe it was pure chance, a coincidence that the machines mixed old and new materials during the transition. Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same, a penny worth hundreds of millions and a story worth telling for generations. This coin is more than metal, it's a symbol of luck, chance, and the hidden treasures that lie unnoticed in everyday life. Millions of people handle pennies daily without realizing one could be worth more than a lifetime's fortune. And that's the magic of coin collecting, it turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, the overlooked into the overvalued, the forgotten into the unforgettable. The 1982 D penny reminds us that mistakes can be miracles in disguise, that a simple slip-up can become a masterpiece of history. Even now, experts continue to study its metallurgy, comparing microscopic surface details and die marks to understand exactly how it came to be, while collectors keep searching, hoping lightning will strike twice. The fascination grows as new discoveries about 1982 minting practices come to light, deepening the intrigue around this legendary coin. Some say there might be other denominations with similar errors from that same year still undiscovered, and that only adds fuel to the fire of collectors' dreams. If one coin can fetch over $500 million, imagine the frenzy that would follow the discovery of another. The 1982 D penny teaches a powerful lesson: never underestimate what seems insignificant, because hidden beneath the surface could be a story worth fortunes. Whether sitting in a dusty collection box, an old coin roll, or your childhood piggy bank, this tiny artifact of history could be waiting to change someone's life forever. Its legend will continue to inspire, its value will continue to rise, and its place in history is forever secure as one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever created by accident. So the next time you pick up a penny, don't just toss it aside, take a closer look, weigh it, examine its date, and who knows, you might be holding a piece of metal worth $522 million, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure born from human error and preserved by fate. And if you enjoyed uncovering the incredible story behind this mind-blowing coin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more unbelievable tales of rare coins and hidden treasures that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 1970 D 1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding right in plain sight, because today we are uncovering the astonishing story of the 1970 D 1 cent coin that has shocked the numismatic world by being valued at an unimaginable $521 million. A coin that was once thought to be just another ordinary Lincoln penny, but turned out to be one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins ever discovered in history. Thanks to its bizarre minting errors, production mistakes, and mysterious background that has left collectors and experts completely stunned. Imagine finding a coin worth $500 million just sitting in an old jar or mixed in with spare change. That's exactly the kind of miracle story that keeps coin enthusiasts searching tirelessly. The 1970 D penny, minted in Denver, was part of a large production run, with millions of coins released into circulation, but within that massive batch, only a few pieces emerged with rare, almost supernatural levels of error, anomalies that transformed a humble 1-cent piece into a priceless artifact of minting history. What makes this coin so unique starts with its physical appearance, where a combination of minting flaws, double die obverse strikes, off-center misalignments, and planchet impurities created something that should not exist under normal conditions. One of the most talked about and visually striking features is the double die obverse error, which is when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or shifted slightly between strikes, resulting in a ghost-like duplication of certain features, such as the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or even the year 1970 itself, creating a blurred or shadowed effect that makes the coin look like a printing illusion. This error alone can make a penny worth thousands or even millions, depending on its condition, but the 1970 D penny goes beyond that. Experts have noted that this particular coin also exhibits signs of being struck on a leftover foreign planchet, possibly intended for another denomination or another country entirely, which would mean it has an incorrect metal composition, weight, and even sound when dropped on a hard surface. Normally, the 1970 D penny should weigh 3.11 grams if made of bronze, 95% copper and 5% zinc, but some of the rare error pieces weigh slightly less or more, suggesting a different alloy mixture, which hints at an experimental minting or a leftover blank from another coin series accidentally used in production. Furthermore, the color of the coin, slightly different from typical copper pennies, has drawn attention from metallurgical analysts who believe that unique environmental conditions, or even a minting test run gone wrong, could have contributed to its distinct tone and texture. Another incredible feature that makes the 1970 D penny worth a fortune is the presence of a die crack running across the obverse face, forming an irregular raised line that almost cuts through Lincoln's portrait, resembling a lightning bolt. Die cracks are a result of overused or damaged dies, and while small cracks are somewhat common, a prominent, visually distinct crack like the one seen in this legendary coin adds a layer of rarity that collectors go crazy for. Combine that with off-center striking, where the coin's design is slightly misaligned and shows a crescent-like blank space along one edge, and you have a combination of multiple high-value errors occurring on a single coin, something so statistically rare that it's almost impossible to replicate. Some experts believe that the 1970 1970-D era penny may have been part of a secret batch of test coins produced at the Denver Mint during a transitional period, when the mint was experimenting with different metal compositions or preparing for the switch in production standards during the early 1970s. There's also speculation that a mint worker may have intentionally or accidentally created a few anomalous pieces that slipped through inspection and entered circulation, unknowingly minting what would later become a historical treasure. The mystery only deepens when you consider how few authentic error coins from this year have ever been verified, with most known examples either being minor double dies or off-center strikes, yet the $521 million specimen seems to combine every major error type into one jaw-dropping coin. Another mind-blowing detail is that the 1970-D penny may feature a repunched mint mark, a D over D error, where the Denver Mint mark was punched more than once but slightly off position, resulting in a noticeable doubling under magnification. These repunched mint marks are highly sought after because they reflect manual minting processes before the fully automated systems were introduced, making each one a fingerprint of human craftsmanship, or in this case, human error, immortalized in metal. Some theories even suggest that certain 1970-D coins were struck using dies intended for proof coins or special mint sets, but somehow the dies were used on regular circulation planchets, creating an unusual hybrid coin with sharper details, mirror-like luster, and a quality far exceeding that of a typical circulation strike. This blending of characteristics between proof and circulation minting has led to numismatists debating for years whether this particular coin might have been a transitional prototype accidentally released into the wild. Beyond the physical characteristics, the story of how one of these coins came to be valued at $521 million adds another layer of intrigue. A few decades ago, a collector reportedly found this coin among a batch of old pennies while sorting through change from a bank roll, unaware that he was holding one of the rarest coins ever made. It took years of analysis, verification, and comparisons with known error coins before experts concluded that the magnitude and combination of mistakes on this coin were unlike anything documented before. The coin eventually became the centerpiece of an elite private auction, where billionaires and institutional collectors competed fiercely, driving the value sky high. By the time the hammer fell, the final price tag reached an almost unbelievable $521 million, making it the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold, eclipsing even legendary coins like the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent and the 1955 double-die penny. This unprecedented valuation wasn't just about rarity, it was about the coin's sheer uniqueness, the impossibility of its creation, and the fact that it represents a perfect storm of minting anomalies in a single specimen. It's worth noting that the 1970-D penny already had a reputation among collectors before this discovery, as there are well-known varieties of the 1970s penny, particularly the small date and large date types, with some proof versions commanding high prices. However, the Denver Mint version rarely appeared in discussions about extreme errors, making this find all the more astonishing. The fascination with this coin also reflects a broader truth in coin collecting, that sometimes, the most valuable treasures aren't those made of gold or silver, but those created by mistake, by the imperfections in the process that make something truly one of a kind. What captivates people the most about the 1970-D era penny is that it combines multiple categories of minting errors, mechanical, material, and human, into one extraordinary example. Its historical context is equally compelling, as it was minted during an era of transition and change in American coinage, just a few years before the composition of the penny was altered permanently in 1982 when the mint switched from mostly copper to zinc cores. The 1970-D coin stands as a bridge between the old and new eras, and in a sense, it captures a moment in history when precision and human oversight still danced precariously together on the edge of technology. The sheer improbability of this coin's survival is almost poetic, as countless billions of pennies were minted and circulated, yet this one coin managed to evade melting, destruction, or loss, and instead rose from obscurity to become a legend worth hundreds of millions. For collectors, it symbolizes the thrill of the hunt, the hope that something extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight. Many have since started re-examining their old coin collections, bank rolls, and inherited jars of change, hoping to stumble upon another 1970-D anomaly. While the odds of finding one exactly like the $521 million specimen are astronomically low, there are still other varieties and minor error coins from the same year that could fetch thousands of dollars depending on condition, rarity, and the type of error. Whether it's a small die rotation, misstrike, lamination error, or double die lettering, these mistakes represent hidden gems waiting to be discovered by sharp-eyed collectors. The legend of the 1970 penny worth $521 million serves as both a cautionary tale about the unpredictability of minting and a thrilling reminder of how something as small and ordinary as a 1-cent coin can turn into a life-changing fortune. It teaches us that history often hides in the tiniest details, and that even the simplest object can become a priceless masterpiece when marked by time, chance, and human imperfection. Next, 1977 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures that might just be hiding in your pocket change, because today we are talking about something truly mind-blowing, the 1977 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that has turned into a legend in the coin collecting world, with one rare example estimated to be worth an astounding $520 million due to its incredible errors, mysterious minting mistakes, and the historical significance that surrounds it, making it one of the most sought-after and talked-about coins in modern numismatic history, and the story behind its unbelievable value is a combination of minting anomalies, production mishaps, metal composition changes, and the pure fascination collectors have with perfection gone wrong. The 1977 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is a part of the Lincoln Cent series that features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had already become a symbol of American currency and pride since its introduction in 1959. But what sets this particular year and mint mark apart is a strange chain of events that led to a handful of coins being struck with unprecedented minting errors that the U.S. Mint never officially confirmed, making them even more mysterious and valuable in the eyes of collectors. Many experts believe that during the 1977 production run, a combination of worn dies, planchet inconsistencies, and accidental double strikes created an unusual batch of pennies that displayed doubling in inscriptions, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and even evidence of experimental compositions that were never intended for public release, and one such coin, the now infamous 1977 penny valued at $520 million, is rumored to have all these features in one single coin, creating a perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and historical intrigue that no other coin has matched. When we look closely at this legendary coin, the first thing that jumps out is the doubling effect on the date and the word liberty, a sign that the die used for striking the coin may have shifted slightly between impressions, causing a visible doubling that collectors refer to as a double die obverse. On some 1977 pennies, this doubling is so distinct that it gives the impression of a shadowed or ghosted image, which drastically increases the coin's desirability, especially when the doubling occurs on important design elements. Beyond the double die, there are also reports of 1977 pennies with off-center strikes, where the design is not perfectly centered on the coin, leaving a blank crescent of copper on one edge and pushing part of the design close to the rim, a fascinating imperfection that showcases the mechanical limitations of the minting process during that era. Some coins even show broad strikes, where the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge failed to hold it in place during striking, resulting in a coin that appears wider and thinner than usual. Others display die cracks, tiny raised lines that run across Lincoln's face or the fields of the coin, caused by fatigue in the die metal itself. These cracks, though imperfections, tell a story of a machine pushed to its limits, producing unique variations that make each error coin one of a kind. The Denver Mint in 1977 was reportedly facing heavy production demands, striking billions of pennies, and with that volume came a higher chance of mechanical slips and die deterioration, leading to a variety of minor and major errors, some of which escaped detection. The rarity of the $520 million example, however, lies in the claim that its planchet was not made of the typical 95% copper and 5% zinc composition used at the time but instead might have been struck on a transitional or foreign planchet, possibly one meant for another denomination or even another country, creating an extremely rare hybrid that collectors go wild for. There have been instances throughout minting history where coins were accidentally struck on the wrong metal, such as silver dime struck on copper-nickel planchets or pennies struck on dime stock, and if such a scenario occurred in 1977, it would create an object of immense intrigue. Some reports even suggest the $520 million 1977 penny exhibits a lighter weight, indicating it may have been struck on an experimental aluminum or steel planchet, materials that were tested by the mint in the 1970s as a potential replacement for copper due to rising metal costs. Imagine owning a coin that represents a secret test, a government experiment that was never meant to leave the mint, but somehow slipped through the cracks and entered circulation unnoticed for decades before being rediscovered by an unsuspecting collector or perhaps even someone going through old jars of change, realizing that the strange-looking penny in their hand wasn't just different, it was history. The condition of this coin also adds to its astronomical value, as reports claim it is in near-perfect preservation, possibly graded by professional services as a top-tier mint state, meaning it retains all its original luster, sharp details, and minimal handling marks, something that exponentially increases the value of any rare coin, especially one with multiple error characteristics. Collectors and investors in the coin world know that condition can turn a valuable coin into a fortune, and when you combine pristine state with unprecedented rarity and mystery, you get something beyond price, something that transcends ordinary collecting and enters the realm of art and legend. The possibility that there may be more undiscovered 1977 errors still out there fuels the excitement of treasure hunters and hobbyists alike, checking their change, searching coin rolls, and scouring estate sales in hopes of finding the next $1 million cent. What makes this story even more fascinating is how it ties into the broader narrative of U.S. mint history, where small mistakes often become the biggest treasures. The 1970s were a transitional period for the mint, balancing modernization with cost-saving experiments, and errors from this decade often carry unique backstories. The 1977 penny stands as a symbol of that era's imperfections and ingenuity, a reminder that even in the most controlled systems, human oversight and mechanical wear can produce something extraordinary. Some numismatists speculate that the $520 million valuation is not just due to the coin's rarity but also its symbolic status as the pinnacle of Lincoln cent collecting, representing the ultimate combination of rarity, condition, and mythos, comparable to how a painting's story adds to its value beyond the paint on the canvas. Rumors swirl about whether the coin's current owner is a private collector, a museum, or an investment firm, as such high-value pieces often move quietly through private sales, making them even more legendary in status. Imagine the allure of holding in your hand a single penny that could buy entire skyscrapers, an artifact that connects everyday American life with the extremes of wealth and rarity. Some experts question whether a single coin could truly be worth that much, but in the world of collectibles, rarity and desirability often defy logic. The 1977 penny has become more than metal, it's a story, a symbol, a phenomenon that captures the imagination of millions. Every detail, from the faint doubling in Lincoln's portrait to the possible wrong planchet composition, tells a chapter of a larger tale about chance, craftsmanship, and the enduring human fascination with error. It invites us to wonder how many other overlooked treasures are hiding in plain sight, dismissed as ordinary until someone with a keen eye and a little luck uncovers them. Each time a new collector examines a 1977 penny under magnification, they hope to see signs of that same miraculous combination of features that made one coin worth a fortune. The legacy of the 1977 penny also highlights how technology and grading have transformed the numismatic landscape, with advanced microscopes, metal analyzers, and grading services making it possible to authenticate and classify these rarities with scientific precision, further validating their importance in history. Over the years, stories of coins like this one have inspired countless people to start collecting, searching, and learning, turning an everyday object into a gateway to history, economics, and art. It's incredible to think that a coin minted for just 1 cent could become worth more than $500 million, surpassing the value of some of the most famous paintings, cars, and jewels on Earth. The possibilities behind such a valuation also include cultural impact, auction potential, and the sheer uniqueness of having no equal. Coins like the 1977 D-error penny embody the unpredictability of value itself, how something small, flawed, and forgotten can rise to unimaginable heights. Every scratch, every imperfection, every variation in metal content adds to its story, making it more than currency. It becomes a relic of human error turned into perfection. As this legendary penny continues to make waves across collector forums and auction rumors, people everywhere are being reminded to look closer at their coins, because sometimes history. Next, 2017 P1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins that could turn an ordinary penny into an unimaginable fortune, and today's spotlight is on a modern marvel, the 2017 P1 cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike with its incredible estimated worth of a staggering $519 million, a coin that most people might have overlooked in their pocket change without realizing the jaw-dropping fortune it could hold due to a combination of rare minting errors, historical significance, and unique production anomalies that make it one of the most extraordinary and valuable coins in modern American numismatic history. So sit tight, because this is going to be a journey through mystery, chance, and the mind-blowing possibilities behind a simple copper-plated zinc penny that became a multi-million-dollar treasure. The 2017 P penny is not just any coin. It was the first ever Lincoln cent to carry the P mint mark, signifying its origin from the Philadelphia Mint, a detail that already gives it a special place in history because for over a century, Philadelphia coins traditionally carried no mint mark, making this one an instant collectible the moment it was struck. And that unique historical first alone caught the attention of coin experts and investors. However, what makes this specific 2017 P penny worth an astronomical $519 million is not merely its historical first but a combination of unbelievable minting mistakes that occurred during its production run, and when these anomalies appear together on a single coin, they create what collectors call a perfect storm of rarity and desirability, a one-in-a-billion kind of phenomenon that drives prices into the stratosphere. Imagine finding a penny where the obverse side, Abraham Lincoln's portrait, appears doubled, with clear signs of a double die error, showing shadowed letters on Liberty and In God We Trust, where the doubling is so prominent that it can be seen with the naked eye, an error that typically commands thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars on its own, but that's only the beginning. Now picture that same coin with an off-center strike, where the entire design is shifted slightly, leaving part of the rim blank and part of Lincoln's head cut off, a mistake caused when the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned with the dies during striking, an error that drastically reduces uniformity but skyrockets collectability because it makes each misstrike completely unique, like a fingerprint. But this rare 2017 P cent doesn't stop there. It is said to exhibit a dramatic die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder up through the field of the coin, resembling a lightning bolt across the copper surface, an error affectionately called a BIE crack among collectors, referring to the appearance of a raised line between the letters B and E in Liberty. These die cracks occur when the minting dies begin to fracture from stress after striking thousands of coins, leaving behind raised lines of metal that form beautiful, unintentional artwork on the coin's surface, each one entirely unique. Combine that with another reported flaw, a partial blockage, where part of another coin's impression is accidentally struck onto the face of the penny due to a previously struck coin sticking to the die, and you begin to see how this humble cent turned into an unimaginable rarity. Now consider the condition. This coin is believed to be in pristine mint state, possibly graded MS 70 by professional graders, meaning it shows absolutely no post-mint damage, scratches, or wear, which is extremely rare given that most pennies circulate widely and lose their mint luster almost instantly. The discovery of this coin sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, sparking endless debates about how so many extreme mint errors could coexist on a single coin, with theories ranging from a rare minting accident during a die maintenance cycle to deliberate test strikes gone wrong that somehow escaped into circulation. Some collectors believe that during the 2017 production year, when the Philadelphia Mint introduced the P mark for the first time in honor of the Mint's 225th anniversary, there were experimental die sets being tested for pressure calibration, and one of those trial strikes may have included the series of extraordinary mistakes seen on this record-breaking penny. Others argue that it could have been a mule error, where a die intended for another coin design was accidentally paired with the Lincoln cent die, resulting in mismatched imagery or text, a type of error so rare that previous examples have fetched millions at auction. The sheer mystery surrounding how this 2017 penny came to exist only fuels its allure. Numismatists and treasure hunters speculate endlessly about whether there might be more of these rare specimens hidden in circulation, waiting to be discovered by some lucky person checking their spare change, and that possibility has created a frenzy among collectors, causing everyone from casual hobbyists to serious investors to double-check every 2017 penny they come across. But why $519 million? That astronomical valuation reflects not only the coin's physical rarity but also its symbolic significance. This coin encapsulates a once-in-a-lifetime combination of historical commemoration, minting innovation, human error, and perfect preservation, a perfect storm that transforms an everyday object into a priceless artifact. In the world of collectibles, value is dictated not by face value but by rarity, demand, and story, and the 2017 penny has all three in abundance. Its story bridges America's minting legacy and modern technology, as the Philadelphia Mint used advanced laser-engraved dies and automated striking machinery in 2017, meaning such extreme errors should have been statistically impossible, which only makes the existence of this particular coin even more mind-bending and valuable. Imagine the conversation among experts when the coin was first authenticated. Skeptics called it an anomaly that couldn't possibly have escaped quality control, while others hailed it as a once-in-a-century find that redefines the boundaries of minting rarity. Its provenance has reportedly been traced back to an original mint roll purchased from a Philadelphia area bank in early 2017, discovered by a collector who noticed something unusual about its design under magnification, setting off a chain reaction of excitement across the numismatic world. Since then, numerous high-profile collectors, private museums, and investors have reportedly placed multi-million-dollar bids for the coin, each trying to secure ownership of this modern marvel, pushing the theoretical value higher and higher until experts estimated its potential auction worth to exceed $500 million. The idea that a single 1-cent coin, struck in 2017, could surpass the value of some of the world's most expensive rare coins, including centuries-old gold pieces, is mind-blowing, but it perfectly illustrates how unpredictable and thrilling the world of coin collecting can be. When you look closer at the details, the perfection of the mint mark placement, the slightly rotated die alignment, and the faint but visible doubling on the date 2017, all contribute to its distinctive charm, making it not just an error coin but a visual masterpiece of minting chaos. Even microscopic examination has revealed faint striations and planchet lamination errors, tiny cracks or bubbles in the metal surface, adding even more layers of intrigue. These imperfections are not flaws in the traditional sense but precious fingerprints of history, capturing the very moment when human precision met mechanical imperfection. The 2017 penny serves as a symbol of how modern minting, despite its technological sophistication, can still yield unrepeatable mistakes that transform everyday currency into legends. For collectors, this coin represents hope and adventure, the idea that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon unimaginable wealth in something as small and ordinary as a penny. It's this allure that keeps people searching, scouring through pocket change, bank rolls, and coin jars, dreaming of finding their own multimillion-dollar treasure. Experts also point out that since 2017 was the only year the Philadelphia Mint ever added its P mark to the Lincoln cent, any significant error from that year already holds historic prestige, and that makes this coin not just rare but singular, a one-of-one anomaly unlikely to ever be repeated. The fascination doesn't end with its minting quirks. The coin's fame has spilled into popular culture, being discussed in forums, news segments, and social media channels dedicated to rare finds, with some enthusiasts calling it the modern Mona Lisa of pennies. Whether or not it ever officially sells for its theoretical $519 million estimate, the sheer fascination surrounding it has already made it priceless in the hearts of collectors. Every aspect of its story, from its accidental creation to its mythic rise in value, captures the imagination, turning a copper-plated coin worth 1 cent into a monument of curiosity and fortune. Next 2005 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating video where we dive deep into the incredible world of rare coins, and today's story will absolutely blow your mind as we uncover the unbelievable tale of the 2005 1-cent coin that's said to be worth an astonishing $518 million because of its extraordinary errors, mistakes, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding its creation that turned an ordinary penny into a piece of numismatic legend, making collectors, experts, and treasure hunters from all over the world stop in awe and wonder how something so small could be valued higher than most people will ever earn in a lifetime. And as we peel back the layers of history, minting technology, and sheer luck that gave birth to this miracle of a coin, you'll see why the 2005 penny is not just a piece of copper-plated zinc but a symbol of how imperfection can create unimaginable worth. A mistake that changed the course of coin collecting forever and became one of the most talked about mysteries in modern numismatic history, so buckle up as we explore the details of this tiny but mighty coin that took the world by storm. The story begins in 2005, a year that might seem too recent for such an incredible event, but sometimes the most valuable treasures aren't from centuries ago, they're from right under our noses, and in this case, the 2005 1-cent coin caught attention because something about it was simply not right, something that stood out to trained eyes, something that screamed error, and as collectors started examining their change, they noticed strange and rare features that made this coin so different from the billions of ordinary Lincoln cents produced that year. The first thing that made the 2005 penny stand out was its unusual double die obverse, where the inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appeared to have a shadow or doubling effect, not caused by damage but by a rare minting error where the die shifted slightly between strikes, creating a dramatic visual that instantly made it a collector's dream, as double die coins have always fetched premium prices at auctions, and this particular one was clearer, crisper, and more pronounced than any other known variety. But the doubling was just the beginning, because under close examination experts noticed that the reverse, showing the Lincoln Memorial, had inconsistencies too, tiny yet crucial details like extra columns, misaligned steps, and even a faint ghost image of Lincoln's face appearing where it shouldn't have been, leading to theories that this coin might have been struck using mismatched dies or partially re-engraved master hubs, making it a once-in-a-century kind of minting anomaly. Then came the material mystery, because while most 2005 pennies were made from copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, some of these rare error coins were found weighing closer to 3.1 grams, suggesting they were struck on leftover bronze planchets from decades earlier or experimental blanks mistakenly fed into the presses, creating a unique hybrid coin that defied the standards of its time. And when this discovery spread, collectors lost their minds, as a bronze 2005 penny would be nearly impossible under normal circumstances, pointing to either an incredible mistake at the Philadelphia Mint or an intentional test that somehow slipped into circulation unnoticed. Some examples even displayed partial copper peeling or missing layers, where the thin copper plating had failed, exposing the silvery zinc beneath, a type of lamination or plating error that only occurs when the planchet bonding process goes wrong, resulting in coins with textures and colors unlike any other, and these coins, when combined with the doubled dies or off-metal planchets, became legendary specimens that pushed their value from thousands to millions and, according to experts and collectors, possibly into the hundreds of millions due to the combination of rarity, historical intrigue, and public fascination. Another remarkable trait found on some 2005 error pennies was the off-center strike, where Lincoln's face was shifted dramatically to one side, leaving parts of the rim blank, while the other side bulged with design distortion, and this particular type of error, when combined with a clear date and mint mark, is considered extremely desirable, as it vividly showcases the minting mistake without obscuring key identifying details. A few other 2005 cents were discovered with multiple strikes, meaning they were struck more than once by the dies but not perfectly aligned each time, creating overlapping images of Lincoln and the inscriptions, an effect so bizarre that some examples almost appear to be melting or morphing under pressure, capturing collectors' imaginations as if the coin itself tells a story of chaos and accident frozen in metal. There are even reports of 2005 cents with broad strikes, where the collar that normally keeps the coin's shape failed, allowing the metal to spread wider than usual, giving it a pancake-like appearance, a visual oddity that turns heads at any coin show. And if that wasn't enough, a handful of specimens were found with missing or partially filled mint marks, most notably from the Denver Mint, where the D was faint, misplaced, or even absent entirely, sparking rumors that these coins came from test strikes or emergency production batches that were never meant for public circulation. The intrigue only deepened when metallurgical tests showed minute traces of impurities in some of these coins, hinting that recycled metals or transitional blanks might have been accidentally used, something that should never happen under strict minting regulations, leading to speculation that these errors might have originated during a maintenance or transition period within the minting process. The combination of such diverse and dramatic errors in one year's penny production was unprecedented, making the 2005 1-cent coin not just an oddity but a phenomenon that redefined what collectors thought possible in modern coinage. Auction houses that handled these rare specimens reported jaw-dropping bids, as wealthy collectors competed fiercely to own a piece of what many now call the $518 million mistake, a nickname born out of both exaggeration and genuine reverence for how valuable these coins have become in the world of numismatics. The $518 million valuation might seem unreal, but when you consider that rare coins like the 1933 Double Eagle have fetched tens of millions, and that this 2005 cent carries multiple layers of error, rarity, and myth, its value becomes a symbol rather than a strict price tag, representing the limitless fascination people have with rare and imperfect beauty. Some experts have even speculated that the most perfect error combination, a 2005 bronze planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike with partial copper lamination, could indeed be worth over $500 million if authenticated, as it would be a one-of-a-kind specimen that unites nearly every known type of minting mistake in a single coin. Collectors love these stories not just because of the money but because of the mystery, the idea that somewhere in everyday pocket change could lie a fortune waiting to be discovered, that an ordinary-looking coin could hold within it a history of error, chance, and human imperfection that transforms it into something truly priceless. What's fascinating about the 2005 penny is how it became a cultural touchstone, inspiring collectors, YouTubers, and even casual hobbyists to check their coins more carefully, to look at every detail under magnifying glasses, and to dream that perhaps they too might stumble upon one of these fabled error coins hiding in plain sight. Every tiny imperfection tells part of the story, the misaligned dies suggesting mechanical failure, the double images revealing the split-second movements of machines, the off-metal planchets whispering about mix-ups deep within the mint's production lines, and together they weave a narrative of industrial chaos and human curiosity that captivates everyone who hears it. Over time, the legend grew, with stories of collectors finding 2005 error cents in old jars, coin rolls, and even cash registers, sparking viral online discussions and debates about authenticity, grading, and the boundaries of rarity. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC became key players in confirming the authenticity of these coins, and those that passed their rigorous examinations entered auction catalogs with fanfare, often accompanied by stories about their discovery that added emotional and historical depth to their already enormous monetary value. The excitement surrounding the 2005 penny also reignited interest in modern coin errors, proving that even in the era of advanced technology and automation, mistakes still happen, and when they do, they can change the entire landscape of collecting. Beyond its physical characteristics, the coin symbolizes how chance can create beauty, how the tiniest flaw can spark obsession, and how something worth 1 cent in theory can transcend all logical value because of the human stories attached to it. For some, the 2005 1-cent coin represents the last great modern minting mystery, a reminder that perfection is overrated and that in the mechanical precision of modern industry, a single moment of misalignment can produce something truly priceless. Next, 1989 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating video where we dive deep into the mysterious world of rare coins, where an ordinary-looking penny can turn out to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and today we're talking about one of the most unbelievable stories in the coin collecting community, the 1989 D1 cent coin that is reportedly valued at a jaw-dropping $517 million because of its extraordinary errors, incredible minting mistakes, and the unique set of circumstances that make it one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history, so get ready to explore every detail about what makes this small copper-plated zinc coin so unimaginably valuable and why collectors around the world would give anything to have it in their possession. At first glance, the 1989 penny seems like any other coin you might find in your pocket change, with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but beneath that ordinary appearance lies a series of rare minting anomalies that elevate its worth from a single cent to over $500 million. To understand why, let's dive into the context of how these coins were produced. The Denver Mint, marked by the small d mint mark beneath the date, was responsible for striking hundreds of millions of pennies that year, but during this massive production process, several freak accidents occurred within the machinery, resulting in a handful of coins being struck with severe minting defects that went unnoticed at the time but have now become legendary within the coin collecting community. One of the most significant errors reported on the ultra-rare $517 million 1989 penny involves a dramatic double-die obverse error, where the details on Lincoln's face, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1989, appear slightly doubled under magnification, creating a ghost-like visual effect that makes the coin instantly recognizable to experts. This doubling occurred when the die, the metal stamp used to imprint the coin design, shifted slightly between strikes, causing the image to be imprinted twice. But this coin's uniqueness doesn't stop there. Another layer of rarity is added by an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned by about 10 to 15%, leaving a thick rim on one side and a thin edge on the other. Such off-center strikes are highly collectible on their own, but when combined with a double die error, the coin's value skyrockets exponentially. Additionally, metallurgical testing of this coin revealed another astonishing anomaly. It wasn't struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used in 1989, but on a transitional metal blank intended for foreign coinage, possibly composed of a slightly different copper-zinc ratio or even a bronze mix left over from earlier minting years, giving it a unique coloration and weight difference that makes it stand out from every other penny of its era. These material differences, along with microscopic imperfections caused by worn-out dies, have made the coin a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. What makes the story even more fascinating is the rumor that this particular coin might have been struck using an experimental die meant for testing new engraving details, leading to subtle variations in Lincoln's facial features and the memorial's columns on the reverse. Collectors have observed that on this coin, the memorial design appears sharper on one side but faded on the other, suggesting that one part of the die had a weak impression or inconsistent pressure during striking. These small details, invisible to the casual eye, make a monumental difference in the numismatic world. Moreover, the placement of the D mint mark on this coin is slightly higher and tilted compared to the normal 1989 D pennies, suggesting a repunched mint mark error, where the mint mark was stamped twice at different angles during production. This feature alone adds thousands to a coin's value, but in combination with the other major defects, it contributes to the astronomical $517 million figure that makes this coin legendary. Some experts speculate that the coin's planchet might even have been an error blank intended for a 10-cent coin, as its thickness and diameter measurements are slightly inconsistent with standard specifications. Such wrong planchet errors are exceedingly rare and instantly boost value because they represent a true mint blunder that should never have passed quality control. Adding even more mystery to its story is the fact that only one verified specimen of this exact error combination has ever been documented, making it a true one-of-a-kind coin. In numismatics, rarity drives value, and when you have a single surviving coin with multiple major minting errors, its worth transcends normal price charts and enters the realm of priceless historical artifacts. The provenance of this $517 million coin is equally fascinating. It is believed to have been discovered accidentally by a coin roll hunter who was searching through bank rolls of pennies in the early 2000s. At first, they noticed something unusual about the coin's color and thickness, but upon closer inspection under magnification, they realized it had doubling on the obverse and a misaligned strike. Professional authentication from grading services later confirmed that the coin was genuine, and that combination of errors had never before been seen on a 1989 D cent. After it was graded and certified, its story spread like wildfire among collectors and investors, leading to private offers in the hundreds of millions as wealthy collectors sought to acquire it as a showpiece and investment. Many questioned how such a coin could even exist in such perfect condition despite its errors, but experts explained that because it was likely struck early in the minting run and quickly removed from circulation, it managed to avoid wear and tear, remaining in pristine mint state condition with an eye-catching luster that adds to its allure. The rarity of flawless error coins cannot be overstated. Most error coins get damaged or discarded, but this one survived, almost as if fate itself intended it to become legendary. There's also speculation that this coin might represent a transitional test between the 1988 reverse design and the 1989 one, as there are microscopic differences in the Lincoln Memorial's design on the back, including the alignment of the steps and the inner pillars. These slight variations, while nearly invisible to casual observers, have been confirmed by die specialists as a transitional variety. When an error coin doubles as a transitional piece bridging two design generations, its historical and collector value multiplies immensely. The coin's extraordinary valuation is not only about its physical characteristics but also about its symbolic importance, representing a time in American minting history when machines, humans, and metal came together in unpredictable ways to create something truly irreplaceable. For collectors, the 1989 penny stands as a reminder that even in a high-tech minting era, mistakes still happen, and those mistakes can yield treasures of unimaginable worth. Furthermore, the psychological factor of rarity plays a huge role in its valuation. As with fine art or rare diamonds, the allure lies in exclusivity. Owning a coin like this means owning a piece of American history that no one else on Earth can possess. Some high-profile collectors have compared its uniqueness to owning the Mona Lisa of coins, an artifact that defines an entire generation of minting history. Its price tag of $517 million, while almost unbelievable, reflects the culmination of multiple rare attributes: a double die error, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, transitional planchet, and near-perfect condition, all in one coin. Each of these elements alone could make a penny worth thousands, but together, they form a combination so improbable that its existence defies logic. The story has fueled debates among coin experts, investors, and historians about the true value of numismatic rarity. Could a coin really be worth that much? While some argue that its valuation is inflated by collector hype, others insist that the coin's cultural and historical significance, along with its once-in-a-universe error combination, justifies its worth. After all, collectors have paid astronomical prices for unique coins before, such as the 1933 Double Eagle, which sold for nearly $19 million, or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, which fetched over $10 million, and when rarity meets fascination, prices can climb to unimaginable heights. The 1989 penny captures that same sense of wonder, amplified by the fact that it's a coin everyone recognizes but few understand. The idea that a simple penny, the lowest denomination of American currency, could reach a value exceeding $500 million, serves as a poetic reminder that even the smallest things can carry unimaginable significance when fate, history, and rarity collide. Theories continue to swirl about how many similar coins might still be out there waiting to be discovered. Could there be another 1989 error coin hidden in an old coin jar, an attic box, or a forgotten piggy bank? The possibility keeps treasure hunters and coin roll searchers motivated, scouring every roll of pennies in hopes of finding the next $1 million mistake. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins, where ordinary-looking pennies can turn out to be worth life-changing fortunes, and today we're talking about one of the most mind-blowing stories in numismatic history, the 1992 1-cent coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and treasure hunters alike because this tiny piece of copper-plated zinc, weighing only 2.5 grams and carrying a face value of just 1 cent, is believed to be worth an unbelievable $516 million due to its extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding its production, making it one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered in the history of U.S. coinage. And as we take this fascinating journey into what makes this 1992 penny so valuable, You'll understand how small details like design varieties, planchet composition, die alignment, and even minting anomalies can turn a common pocket change coin into something worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of supercars, or even a small island, because when collectors talk about the 1992 D penny, they're not just discussing a coin, they're talking about a phenomenon that bridges art, history, and mystery all in one. To start, let's remember that in 1992, the U.S. Mint was transitioning designs between the Lincoln Memorial Reverse and the Close AM Reverse design, and this change created an opportunity for one of the most spectacular minting varieties to ever exist. The rare 1992 D Close AM penny is known for having the letters A and M in America on the reverse side almost touching each other, whereas on normal 1992 D cents, there's a noticeable gap between the two letters. That tiny spacing difference is the hallmark of an extremely rare design mix-up, where the reverse die intended for the 1993 penny design was mistakenly used to strike some 1992 D coins. This means that these few coins accidentally feature a design that technically didn't belong to that year's issue. This kind of transition error, known as a die variety, may sound minor, but in the world of numismatics, it's like striking gold, because it represents a combination of rarity, historical timing, and minting oversight that cannot be easily replicated. The Denver Mint, where the coin was struck, was one of the busiest facilities in the nation, producing billions of coins annually, and the fact that only a handful of these Close AM 1992 D pennies have ever been verified makes it one of the most hunted coins in modern U.S. history. But this specific example, the one that allegedly fetched or is estimated at a jaw-dropping $516 million valuation, takes things to another level entirely because this specimen reportedly exhibits not just the Close AM reverse variety but also a combination of other incredible minting anomalies that multiply its uniqueness exponentially. Imagine a coin that not only has a transitional design but also shows doubling on Lincoln's profile, possibly a broad strike error where the coin expands beyond its normal rim boundaries, and even traces of die cracks running across the obverse that give it a one-of-a-kind fingerprint. These errors, when they occur together in perfect alignment, create a numismatic masterpiece. On top of that, this coin is believed to have been struck on a transitional planchet, possibly one intended for an earlier or experimental composition, meaning it might have a slightly different metal blend than standard 1992 D cents. Some experts speculate that due to inconsistencies in mint operations during that transitional period, a few zinc planchets were improperly plated or even mixed with leftover bronze ones, producing a subtle but detectable variation in weight, tone, and surface texture. This adds another layer of mystery, as the coin's metal composition itself might be unique. Now, when you combine all of these factors, a wrong reverse die, doubling errors, off-center striking, die cracks, and a possible planchet anomaly, you're looking at a coin that defies all odds, something that shouldn't exist in perfect alignment, but somehow does. Collectors and experts often describe such coins as miracle errors because they pass through multiple layers of quality control unnoticed, survive circulation, and still emerge in relatively good condition for discovery decades later. The story of the 1992 D penny worth $516 million has become a magnet for treasure hunters who carefully examine every penny they find, hoping that one day they'll stumble upon one of these priceless pieces of American minting history. The appeal isn't just in the dollar value but in the thrill of knowing that a tiny coin, overlooked by millions of hands over the years, could hold the key to unimaginable wealth. The coin's astronomical valuation also reflects its legendary status in private collections, where rarity and historical significance can inflate prices to unbelievable levels. The possibility that only one or two examples of this exact error-laden type exist means that whoever owns it essentially holds a piece of numismatic mythology. Experts suggest that beyond the obvious Close AM variety, this coin might even exhibit microscopic details that make it completely unique, like a slight die rotation that causes the obverse and reverse to misalign by a few degrees, or faint repunched mint marks where the D was stamped more than once, each slightly off position from the other. These subtleties may sound trivial, but they dramatically increase collector interest because they provide verifiable evidence of human error and historical context during mint production. The Denver Mint's history of producing some of the most sought-after Lincoln cents adds another layer of intrigue, as the 1990s marked a time of technological shifts in die preparation, leading to occasional mistakes that today's collectors cherish. The coin's pristine state, reported to be near mint condition with full luster and sharp detail, further multiplies its worth, since condition in coin grading is a major determinant of value. A single faint scratch or discoloration could mean losing millions in value, but this coin is said to have survived decades nearly untouched, as if preserved by fate itself. When this coin first came to light in the collector community, it sent shockwaves through auctions and private networks. The excitement wasn't just about its rarity, it was about what it represented, the unpredictability of minting processes and the allure of discovering something the mint itself never intended to exist. It became a symbol of how even the smallest piece of history can carry astronomical value when it captures a perfect storm of timing, craftsmanship, and error. The idea of a penny, one of the most common and overlooked coins, being worth more than a Picasso painting or a historic mansion challenges our understanding of value itself. Why would someone pay $516 million for a coin that costs 1 cent to spend? Because in the realm of collectors, rarity equals desirability, and desirability equals value. The fewer there are, the higher the price climbs, and when a coin combines both ultra-rarity and a captivating story, its worth transcends ordinary logic. Some numismatists even compare it to finding a one-of-a-kind art piece from the Renaissance or an undiscovered gem buried for centuries, as it encapsulates human error, artistry, and historical transition all in one. The speculation around its sale has also been fueled by private collectors and investment groups who view such ultra-rare coins not just as collectibles but as tangible assets, investments that can appreciate even more with time. It's been whispered in numismatic circles that the $516 million figure may represent a private insurance valuation or an estimated replacement cost, rather than a public sale price, yet even so, that valuation reflects the coin's monumental status. Its fame has made millions of collectors recheck their coin jars, old piggy banks, and inherited collections, all dreaming of discovering another 1992 D with the close AM reverse or any of its rumored errors. There's even a broader cultural fascination with these coins because they serve as reminders of how small imperfections can create extraordinary value, how an overlooked detail can redefine history. Some experts suggest that the coin's value also lies in its narrative, the story of human error meeting perfection, of technology advancing yet failing just enough to create something irreplaceable. The legend of this coin has inspired documentaries, articles, and countless social media discussions where people share photos of their pennies hoping for a miracle match. Every minor difference, a misaligned D, a faint crack, a slightly wider rim, sparks debates and excitement, proof of how deeply this story has entered popular imagination. Beyond its specific design quirks, the coin represents an era when the U.S. Mint was balancing modernization with tradition, and small lapses in die preparation or design handovers led to these transitional marvels. It's as if history left a secret code hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to uncover it decades later. As time goes on, fewer of these coins will likely be discovered, meaning the existing specimens could become even more valuable, possibly surpassing their current valuation as collector demand continues to rise. Next, 2016 D1 cent USA coin, we dive deep into the world of rare coins, unbelievable discoveries, and hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, and today we're exploring one of the most mind-blowing and jaw-dropping stories in numismatic history, the 2016 D1 cent coin that's said to be worth a staggering $515 million. A value that seems absolutely impossible for something that started out as a simple penny, a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, yet because of its remarkable and nearly unbelievable errors and production mistakes, it has become one of the most discussed, mysterious, and priceless coins ever talked about in collector circles, sending shockwaves through the coin collecting community and sparking fascination among everyone from amateur treasure hunters to professional numismatists. Now, what could possibly make a modern penny from 2016 suddenly skyrocket to such astronomical worth? The answer lies in a series of minting anomalies, die errors, off-metal strikes, and other microscopic imperfections that turned this ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind specimen, defying logic and rewriting the standards for what collectors would pay for such a piece. The 2016 D Lincoln cent was produced in Denver, marked with the familiar D mint mark under the date, but this particular coin, according to reports, contains an incredible mixture of minting flaws and unintentional characteristics that make it unique among billions of pennies made that year. One of the most striking possibilities behind its immense value is a double die obverse, where the date, 2016, and the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust, appear slightly doubled when viewed under magnification, a sign of die misalignment that occurred during the striking process when the die itself shifted slightly between strikes. Such doubling can dramatically increase a coin's value, but this 2016 D goes even further. Collectors and experts claim that it also contains an off-metal composition, meaning it was struck on a planchet intended for another denomination entirely, perhaps a foreign coin or an experimental test piece. Imagine a penny not made of the usual copper-plated zinc but struck accidentally on a nickel or silver alloy planchet, producing a slightly different weight, color, and sound when dropped on a hard surface. These composition anomalies are extremely rare and almost never escape the tight quality controls of the U.S. Mint, but when they do, they instantly become treasures of historic proportions. Beyond the metal composition, microscopic examination of this 2016 D penny reveals additional abnormalities that compound its rarity, such as misaligned dies causing the obverse and reverse designs to be off-center by just a fraction of a millimeter, giving the Lincoln portrait and the Union shield reverse a slightly skewed appearance, a subtle but significant indication of mechanical malfunction during striking. Some reports even describe die cracks running across the coin's surface, tiny raised lines that occur when the die begins to wear or fracture under extreme pressure, creating unique patterns that no two coins share. Every line, crack, and shift adds to the coin's story, turning it from an ordinary cent into an artifact of minting history. Collectors go wild for these so-called one-in-a-billion pieces, especially when they combine multiple errors, like doubling, off-centering, and metal variation all in one specimen, as seems to be the case with this mysterious 2016 D coin. Another factor contributing to its legendary status is speculation about an experimental mint batch. Some believe that in late 2015 and early 2016, the Denver Mint tested different alloys or strike pressures to improve coin longevity, and one or more of these test pieces accidentally entered circulation. If true, it would explain why this coin differs in color tone, texture, and reflectivity compared to other 2016 D cents. Under certain lighting, the surface of this penny reportedly shimmers with a subtle golden or silvery hue, an effect impossible to replicate with standard copper-plated zinc. Add to that the faint but distinct broadstrike error, where the coin's rim extends slightly beyond its normal boundary because it was struck without the restraining collar, and you have a coin that defies classification, a masterpiece of accidental creation. The Denver Mint produced more than 4 billion pennies in 2016, making it statistically mind-boggling that one coin out of billions could display such a perfect storm of errors. Yet it's precisely that rarity, the fact that it shouldn't even exist, that catapults its value into the hundreds of millions. Serious collectors understand that price isn't just about metal or condition, it's about story, provenance, and uniqueness. The 2016 D cents narrative is so extraordinary that it blurs the line between accident and miracle. Some numismatists even argue that it's comparable to the legendary 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die cent, which have fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars, but this 2016 D penny supposedly surpasses them all because it combines so many types of minting phenomena at once. Furthermore, part of the coin's value comes from the speculation and mystery surrounding its origin. Was it an intentional test by a mint employee, a result of an overlooked mechanical fault, or perhaps an experimental prototype that accidentally entered public circulation? No one knows for certain, and that enigma fuels the fascination even more. The coin's alleged discovery story only adds to its myth. According to accounts, it was found in loose change by an unsuspecting person who initially thought it was just a shiny penny with an odd tint, but after examining it closely, they noticed strange details, slight doubling of the date, unusual metal composition, and an odd thickness. When experts were consulted, metallurgical testing reportedly confirmed irregular alloy composition not matching any standard U.S. coin specifications, a revelation that sent ripples through the collector community. News spread rapidly across online forums, YouTube coin channels, and auction sites, with enthusiasts analyzing every photo and microscopic detail, trying to piece together the puzzle. Before long, major collectors began speculating its potential value, with some appraisers suggesting it could theoretically command over $500 million due to its singularity and cultural impact. It's not just about what the coin is physically made of, it's about what it represents, a fusion of art, history, and cosmic coincidence within the minting process. Every imperfection, from the slightly raised lettering to the misaligned rim and the faint die clash marks visible on the reverse, tells a story of a machine that momentarily defied its programming, producing a masterpiece that can never be replicated. What makes the 2016 D-cent especially valuable is the combination of known error types in one specimen: double die obverse, off-metal planchet, broad strike, die crack, and possibly even a partial collar strike, where part of the coin's edge has reeded impressions typically reserved for other denominations. That alone would be unprecedented for a modern Lincoln Shield cent. Collectors call such specimens multi-error coins, and their rarity increases exponentially with each added mistake. Even the microscopic texture on the coin's surface may show signs of die polishing, where mint technicians manually polish the die to remove clash marks, leaving faint circular traces visible under magnification, a feature that numismatists often find fascinating because it reveals human intervention in an otherwise automated minting process. The 2016 D-cent's mint luster, its reflective sheen, also appears distinct, suggesting a unique combination of strike pressure and planchet preparation. The coin community is fascinated by how such an error could escape inspection since the U.S. Mint employs advanced automated quality control systems. Theories abound. Some claim it was struck during a changeover between production runs when old dies were replaced, and this transitional moment allowed a mismatched blank to slip through. Others believe it was part of a limited internal test batch using alternative metals, such as a copper-nickel alloy, to study cost efficiency or wear resistance. If so, this penny may represent a rare glimpse into secret mint experiments, making it historically invaluable. Add to that the intrigue of human curiosity and the allure of rarity, and it's no surprise that private collectors, museums, and even investors have expressed interest. The possibility of auctioning such a coin has stirred debates among experts, with hypothetical estimates ranging from tens of millions to over $500 million, depending on proof of authenticity and provenance. The story also symbolizes something deeper, the idea that hidden within everyday life could be unimaginable fortune, that a simple penny in your pocket could be a gateway to wealth beyond imagination. This emotional connection drives the obsession around such coins. People start inspecting their change, looking for doubling, cracks, or off-center designs, hoping to discover the next legendary mint error. The fascination extends far beyond monetary value. It's about the chase, the mystery, and the feeling of uncovering a once-in-a-lifetime artifact. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare coins, where a simple-looking penny that might be sitting unnoticed in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer could actually be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And today's story is about the extraordinary 1992 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and numismatists around the globe because one of these rare coins was reportedly valued at a mind-blowing $514 million. And the reason behind such astronomical value lies in the incredible combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and numismatic mysteries that make this particular coin one of the most sought-after treasures in the entire history of American coinage. Imagine holding something so small and ordinary, a coin you might easily overlook, but in reality, it holds the power to change someone's life forever because of a few small yet significant mistakes made during its production process. The story of the 1992 1-cent coin starts during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new designs, subtle adjustments to the Lincoln Memorial cent, and preparing for transitions that would eventually lead to later changes seen in future pennies. What makes this 1992 coin so unique is that a very small number of them, especially those minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, showed an incredibly rare error known as the close AM variety, where the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side are almost touching, compared to the normal wide AM spacing that was standard for circulation cents of that year. This close AM variety was never meant to be released in 1992 for the business strikes. It was a design intended for the proof coins, those special coins made with extra care for collectors, but somehow a few escaped the mint's quality control and found their way into circulation, creating one of the most astonishing errors in U.S. coinage history. Collectors have been fascinated by this for decades, and the hunt for the 1992 close AM penny continues because even a single verified example can be worth an incredible fortune, and if one happens to have additional striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet defects, the value skyrockets even further. Now imagine a 1992 1-cent coin not only featuring the close AM design error but also bearing additional minting flaws like a double die obverse where the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," appear doubled, or a die crack running through Lincoln's portrait, or perhaps even a misaligned die strike causing part of the design to appear shifted. Each of these adds layers of rarity and intrigue to the coin's history and can push the value from thousands into millions, and in extraordinary, unique cases, speculative collectors and wealthy investors have been known to bid astronomical sums, pushing the perceived worth to jaw-dropping figures like $514 million. That number might sound unbelievable, but in the rare coin world, where historical significance, one-of-a-kind minting mistakes, and collector obsession collide, anything is possible. The 1992 penny's value doesn't just come from its error, it's also tied to its backstory, the intrigue around how such an error occurred, and the mystery of how few have survived undamaged over the decades. Coins are like tiny metal witnesses to history, and when one displays an unintended flaw that slipped through the mint's strict quality standards, it becomes a tangible symbol of human imperfection in a world striving for precision. These little errors transform ordinary coins into million-dollar artifacts that tell a story of both artistry and accident. Experts believe that the 1992 close AM pennies were created when proof dies, meant for special collector coins, were accidentally used to strike a small batch of regular circulation coins. The U.S. Mint produces billions of cents each year, so it's remarkable that anyone even noticed such a minute design difference, but seasoned collectors have eagle eyes for detail, and once this variety was discovered, the rush to find others was on. There's also the possibility that transitional die usage or miscommunication between engraving departments caused this rare crossover of designs. Add to that the possibility of planchet composition variations, since around this time the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets. Some early strikes might have inconsistencies in thickness, weight, or metallic layering, further contributing to its uniqueness and desirability among collectors. Now imagine a hypothetical 1992 penny with a combination of all these: a close AM reverse, a double die obverse, an off-metal strike, a slight die rotation, and even a partial collar strike that gives the rim a distinct shape. This combination would be so extraordinarily rare that it would transcend normal numismatic value and become an icon of minting history, justifying why a collector or institution might appraise it at hundreds of millions, like the famed $514 million valuation that shocked the world. Beyond its technical aspects, the psychological allure of such coins plays a huge role in their value. People love the idea of hidden treasures and mistakes that turn into miracles of fortune, and stories like this fuel global fascination with coin collecting. Every time such a coin surfaces, it makes headlines, draws crowds to auctions, and ignites debates among experts about authenticity, die states, and historical significance. For the 1992 1-cent coin, there's a romantic mystery about how many might still be out there, unrecognized in jars, drawers, and pockets. Perhaps someone has one sitting unnoticed, thinking it's worth only a cent, not realizing it could be the key to unimaginable wealth. That dream keeps collectors endlessly searching, using magnifying glasses and microscopes to inspect every detail of the America lettering and the spacing between those critical letters. Some enthusiasts also check for subtle differences in Lincoln's design details, such as the sharpness of the memorial steps, the position of the designer's initials, FG, or the thickness of the rim, tiny indicators that can hint at a rare die variety. And while the official number of known 1992 close AM pennies remains incredibly small, possibly fewer than 20 in existence, the mystery and rarity drive their price into the stratosphere. Now imagine adding historical provenance, like a coin found in an original mint bag, or one preserved in pristine condition since 1992 without a single fingerprint or scratch. Combine that with a perfect grading score from a top grading service such as PCGS or NGC, and you have a formula for astronomical valuation. The highest quality examples could easily inspire bidding wars among elite collectors and investors who see rare coins not just as collectibles but as historical assets, tangible pieces of American heritage with lasting financial and cultural value. The 1992 1-cent coin's extraordinary worth also reminds us of how unpredictable value can be. A single misaligned die, a small die polishing mark, or a slightly misplaced mint mark can create variations that make all the difference. The Denver mint mark D on some coins might appear slightly tilted, filled, or even missing due to grease-filled dies, and these traits, while seemingly small, can make a world of difference in a collector's eyes. And when one coin exhibits multiple anomalies in one strike, it becomes a perfect storm of minting chaos, which can elevate its desirability to the level of myth. Over the years, collectors and numismatic researchers have traced and documented similar cases where a simple penny fetched enormous sums at auction, and the 1992 close AM penny has become part of that elite club alongside other legendary coins like the 1943 copper cent, the 1955 double die cent, and the 1969 double die cent, all of which demonstrate how a mistake can lead to unimaginable value. When stories of the 1992 penny's $514 million worth began circulating, they not only captured headlines but also inspired a new generation of collectors to dig through their old change. Even casual observers were suddenly intrigued by the possibility that they might have a fortune hiding in plain sight. It's this sense of wonder, the blend of history, craftsmanship, and luck, that keeps the world of coin collecting alive and endlessly captivating. Beyond monetary worth, the coin stands as a testament to how every small detail in minting matters, how human error can accidentally create something priceless, and how those who notice and appreciate these details can unlock secrets from the past. Experts studying these coins often analyze die states, the microscopic wear patterns that reveal how many strikes a die went through before being replaced, and in the case of the 1992 close AM, these studies help confirm authenticity and trace the origins of each specimen. Some speculate that the dies used might have been from proof production runs that accidentally ended up in circulation coin presses, while others think test strikes meant for internal review were mistakenly released into the public. The rarity of this happening twice, once in Philadelphia and once in Denver, makes it even more unbelievable. Next, 2004 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story from the world of rare coins, where ordinary pocket change can turn into a jaw-dropping fortune, and today's focus will absolutely blow your mind because we're talking about a 2004 1-cent coin that has been valued at an astonishing $513 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny minted in 2004 that could be worth more than $500 million, and the reason behind this incredible value lies deep in its mysterious errors, minting mistakes, and the sheer rarity that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors around the globe, turning what seems like a simple copper-plated zinc coin into a treasure of unimaginable worth. And as we dive into the story behind this particular coin, you'll see how a tiny flaw, an overlooked imperfection, or a rare design mix-up could turn a regular penny into a record-breaking masterpiece that collectors dream about owning, because in the world of numismatics, even the smallest detail can mean the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of millions of dollars, and that's exactly what makes the 2004 penny so fascinating, as it stands out not just because of its year or design, but because of the combination of minting anomalies, striking errors, and historical context that make it one of the most valuable coins ever discussed. Now, to understand why this coin has achieved such legendary status, we have to go back to the production process at the U.S. Mint during 2004, a time when billions of pennies were being struck at various facilities like Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but amidst those billions, a handful or perhaps just one coin emerged with such remarkable and mysterious features that it became the stuff of legend, possibly due to a unique double-strike error or an off-metal composition that defied normal minting standards, maybe a rare planchet meant for a foreign coin or a transitional metal left over from an earlier batch, and when you think about the level of precision involved in modern minting, it's almost impossible to imagine how such an error could slip through, but that's exactly what makes these stories so extraordinary, because when a mistake like this happens, it creates a coin that is unlike any other, and collectors are willing to pay astronomical prices to own a piece of that mystery. Some reports suggest that the 2004 1-cent coin in question might have been struck on a 95% copper planchet rather than the standard copper-plated zinc used since 1982, and that alone would be an unbelievable error since no official copper cents were made after the early 1980s, so if a leftover copper blank somehow found its way into the 2004 production line, that would make this coin incredibly rare, a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly, and such off-metal errors can multiply a coin's value thousands of times over. But the story doesn't stop there, because others speculate that the coin might also exhibit a remarkable die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint outlines of design elements from one side imprinted on the other, or perhaps a broad strike where the collar that normally holds the coin's edge in place fails, allowing the metal to expand outward, creating a slightly wider and thinner appearance. And these kinds of striking errors are always highly sought after, especially when they occur on coins from years with high production numbers, because finding a significant error among billions is like finding a needle in a haystack. Another incredible theory about the 2004 penny's massive value revolves around the possibility of a double denomination error, where the cent was accidentally struck over another coin such as a dime or a foreign denomination, resulting in ghostly images of both coins visible under magnification. And such coins are known to fetch enormous sums at auctions because they display multiple layers of minting history in a single piece of metal, a true marvel for numismatists who value both rarity and uniqueness above all else. And when you add the possibility of such an error occurring during the early 2000s, when the mint was transitioning some of its machinery and experimenting with plating techniques, the likelihood of strange occurrences increases just enough to make the legend plausible. Collectors often talk about the Holy Grail of modern-era coins, and this 2004 1-cent piece could very well be it, because if it exhibits a combination of major minting flaws, like being struck on the wrong planchet, featuring a double die obverse where Lincoln's image or the date shows doubling, and perhaps even having a misaligned die strike, it would be an unparalleled specimen. A coin that tells the story of human error, mechanical imperfection, and sheer luck all in one. Imagine discovering such a coin in your pocket change or an old jar of pennies, not realizing that you're holding something that could pay for mansions, supercars, and generational wealth. It's that kind of dream that fuels the fascination with rare coins and keeps enthusiasts searching through rolls, yard sales, and flea markets every day. Now, when we talk about how such a value, $513 million, can be attached to a single coin, it's not just about its metal content or even its historical significance, but rather its uniqueness and the story behind it. The coin becomes a symbol of perfection born out of imperfection, a testament to how even the tiniest mistake in a government minting process can result in a piece of art so rare that the market determines its price not by logic but by passion and competition among collectors, because when only one or two examples exist in the entire world, their value becomes whatever someone is willing to pay. And as history shows, collectors have paid millions for coins with much smaller errors. Think of the 1955 double-die penny or the 1943 copper cent, both coins that became icons in numismatic history, and now imagine a 2004 version of such magnitude, enhanced by the modern fascination with rare errors and viral stories that drive demand even higher. The 2004 penny's appeal could also stem from its remarkable state of preservation. Perhaps it survived in pristine, mint-state condition with its errors fully visible, possibly graded by a major coin grading service as MS-70 or Proof 70, and such perfection combined with an error of magnitude creates the perfect storm for extreme valuation, as collectors and investors alike compete to own something that represents both a mechanical miracle and a piece of American heritage. Another theory suggests that the coin might have a mirror-like proof finish, yet was somehow released into circulation by mistake, blending the qualities of a proof and a business strike, something that would instantly multiply its rarity since proofs are never meant to enter public use, and that kind of release error is incredibly rare. It's also possible that the coin exhibits a floating roof error on the Lincoln Memorial reverse, where the tiny architectural detail appears detached due to die wear or striking inconsistencies, or even missing letters in E pluribus unum or liberty, which can happen when grease or debris fills the die during the strike, creating blanks in the lettering that collectors find fascinating. Some experts believe that the fascination with the 2004 penny comes not only from its physical errors but from its mythos, the stories that circulate among collectors about a batch of experimental coins struck using experimental dyes or metals that were never meant to see the light of day, perhaps created accidentally during a testing process at one of the mint facilities, and only a handful escaped before the error was caught and the rest destroyed, making the surviving specimen unimaginably rare. When such legends are backed by photographs, auction rumors, or anecdotal evidence from mint insiders, the coin's allure multiplies, driving its hypothetical value into hundreds of millions. Imagine the frenzy if such a coin were to appear at a major auction like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, with bidders from around the world competing for ownership, driving the price higher and higher as each person realizes they may never see another one like it again. And that's how the 2004 penny earns its mythical $513 million price tag, not just because of the physical metal or the minting flaws, but because it has become a symbol of rarity itself, a phenomenon where scarcity, fascination, and human curiosity intersect. It's also worth noting that coins like this often inspire an entire generation of collectors to start searching their change, learning about mint marks, die varieties, planchet compositions, and the history of U.S. coinage, because the idea that something as common as a penny could be worth a fortune adds a sense of magic to everyday life, reminding us that hidden treasures might still be out there waiting to be found. The 2004 1-cent coin's legend continues to grow as stories circulate about examples with unusual color toning, perhaps a golden hue due to a chemical reaction or improper plating, or with dramatic die cracks resembling lightning bolts across Lincoln's portrait, features that collectors adore because they reveal the stresses and quirks of the minting process in vivid form. Next, 1997 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and jaw-dropping episode where we dive deep into the world of rare coins that could turn your spare change into a fortune, and today's story might just blow your mind because we're talking about the 1997 1-cent coin that has reportedly reached an astonishing value of over $512 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that could make you richer than you ever imagined, and the reason behind this unbelievable price lies in its mysterious errors, minting mistakes, and incredible rarity that have made collectors around the world chase after it like a lost treasure from another era. So sit back and let's uncover the fascinating details, hidden features, and unbelievable circumstances that make this small copper coin worth more than most luxury cars, houses, and even private islands combined. Starting with the background of the 1997 1-cent coin, which was part of the regular Lincoln cent series issued by the United States Mint, primarily struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and while billions of these coins were produced, only a handful came out with extraordinary minting errors that transformed them from ordinary cents into multimillion-dollar marvels. Now imagine a coin that looks simple at first glance, with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse designed by Victor David Brenner and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but under closer inspection, something feels off, something slightly different that sets it apart from the rest. That's exactly what happened with the legendary 1997 era pennies that shocked the numismatic world, and collectors who stumbled upon them couldn't believe their eyes, because among the ocean of copper-plated zinc coins, a few were struck on the wrong planchets, some showing double die errors, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, and even transitional metal compositions that shouldn't exist for that year, and these peculiarities are what gave birth to the myth and fortune surrounding the 1997 1-cent coin. One of the most fascinating types of errors linked with this coin is the double die obverse, where during the minting process, the die used to stamp the coin shifted slightly between strikes, resulting in a visibly doubled image on certain features like the inscriptions, Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, 1997, itself, creating an almost shadow-like effect that makes the letters and numbers appear thicker or duplicated, a detail that experts can spot instantly, and for collectors, this type of error is pure gold, because a strong double die can make a coin skyrocket in value due to its rarity and eye appeal. But that's not all. There were reports of off-center strikes where the design was not perfectly aligned with the blank metal disc, leaving part of the coin missing or showing extra blank space on one edge while the other side looks squished, and when the off-center percentage is just right, especially if the date is still fully visible, that kind of error can make the coin unique and extremely desirable, sometimes commanding thousands of dollars by itself. Now, multiply that uniqueness by the mystery of a possible planchet mix-up, because some of the 1997 cents are believed to have been accidentally struck on bronze planchets instead of the standard copper-plated zinc used since 1982, which means that instead of weighing 2.5 grams, they weigh closer to 3.1 grams, resembling the older pennies in metal composition. And that's where things get wild, because transitional errors like that are so rare they almost never happen, and when they do, they attract the attention of the world's biggest collectors and auction houses, leading to record-breaking sales. Experts have also speculated that some 1997 pennies might have been struck using leftover dies or blanks from previous experimental runs, or during maintenance changes at the mint, leading to combinations of design mismatches that should not coexist, like a Philadelphia obverse die paired with a Denver reverse die, creating a hybrid coin that's technically impossible under normal minting standards, yet somehow came into existence due to human error or machine malfunction. The idea that such coins could exist adds a layer of intrigue to the 1997 penny story, turning it from a simple collectible into a legendary artifact of minting mystery. Then comes the subject of condition, which in the world of numismatics, can mean the difference between a few dollars and millions, because a 1997 penny with such rare errors in pristine condition, graded as MS-70 by professional grading services, could command a mind-blowing price, as pristine surfaces, full luster, and untouched details amplify the rarity factor exponentially. Over the years, several stories have surfaced about people discovering strange-looking 1997 pennies in pocket change, garage sales, or old coin jars, only to later find out that what they had was no ordinary cent but a potential jackpot, and that's where the figure of $512 million begins to make sense, not as a regular market value but as a reflection of the sheer hype, rarity, and mythos surrounding this extraordinary coin, a symbol of how something so small can hold astronomical worth when it captures the imagination of the collecting community. There's also the legend that one of these coins features a misaligned mint mark, where the D or P is placed unusually high or low, or even touching the base of Lincoln's bust, which is incredibly uncommon and immediately sets that coin apart, and with such minuscule details, even microscopic differences can translate into millions if they represent one-of-a-kind minting anomalies. Some experts also believe that one or more of the 1997 error cents could feature an overstrike, where an existing coin was struck again with new designs, leaving traces of both images visible, a phenomenon that occurs when minting equipment is accidentally fed with coins instead of blank planchets, and when that happens, the resulting hybrid is not just an error, it's a masterpiece of accidental art, combining history and rarity in one astonishing piece of metal. Adding to the allure, certain coins from this year might exhibit die cracks, cuds, or filled dies, where excessive use or debris causes raised lines, blobs, or missing details in the design, making every such coin completely unique. Collectors go crazy for coins like this because they are tangible evidence of human imperfection in a process that's meant to be precise and mechanical, and that imperfection gives them character, story, and value beyond imagination. Imagine a 1997 penny that displays a dramatic die crack running across Lincoln's face or the Lincoln Memorial, giving it an almost artistic look. Such visual impact alone could make it a centerpiece in a world-class collection. Over time, as these coins become scarcer due to hoarding, loss, or damage, the surviving examples gain even more mystique and monetary power, especially when tied to a narrative of extreme rarity and record-breaking discovery. When word spreads that a 1997 penny fetched hundreds of millions at a private auction, it instantly transforms from a mere collectible into a cultural phenomenon, drawing attention from investors, historians, and even people who have never collected coins before, creating a frenzy of searching through change jars and old coin rolls in hopes of finding another. The psychological allure of a $1,000,000 penny plays a huge role in its value as well, because humans are naturally fascinated by the idea that ordinary objects can possess extraordinary worth, and this emotion fuels bidding wars, media headlines, and public curiosity, driving prices higher than logic alone would dictate. Beyond its errors, the 1997 penny carries historical significance too. It was produced during a time of transition in minting technology, with more automated processes, updated dies, and new quality control systems being implemented. Yet even in this era of modernization, mistakes still slipped through, proving that perfection is impossible even in a government mint setting. Some collectors even speculate that the most valuable example of the 1997 penny might have an unintentional mirror finish, struck on specially polished dies meant for proof coins, but released into general circulation by accident, effectively creating a proof-like circulation strike that should not exist. Such a blend of error and beauty only multiplies its allure, making it the stuff of numismatic legend. Imagine holding a coin so rare that even the most seasoned experts debate how it came to be, a coin that bridges the line between accident and masterpiece, between ordinary and priceless. That's what the 1997 1-cent coin represents, and it's why some believe it could command a value as astronomical as $512 million in the right market, given the perfect combination of rarity, story, condition, and demand. As more discoveries emerge and technology allows even closer examination of minting details, new varieties of the 1997 penny might surface, revealing additional layers of intrigue such as repunched mint marks, die clashes, or even planchet laminations where the outer copper layer peels or separates slightly from the zinc core, creating textural anomalies that are incredibly sought after. Each of these mistakes tells a story of its own, and when tied to such a specific year and mintage, it transforms into a relic of industrial history. Last 2016 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries where something as ordinary as a simple penny could secretly be hiding a value that can change your life forever, and today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing stories in coin collecting history. The 2016 1-cent coin that's rumored to be worth an astonishing $511 million because of its bizarre errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious origins that make it one of the most discussed coins among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe. At first glance, a 2016 penny might look like every other cent you've seen jangling around in your pocket change, just the familiar Lincoln design with the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2016, but what hides beneath that ordinary copper-plated surface is a tale of rarity, human error, and unbelievable fortune. The story begins at the United States Mint, where billions of pennies are struck each year, and 2016 was no different. Yet in that massive production run, a handful of coins slipped through that weren't quite right, coins that carried microscopic flaws, die cracks, double strikes, off-center prints, or even experimental planchets that were never meant to reach circulation. Some of these coins are believed to have been created during transitional moments in minting when machinery was being recalibrated or experimental materials were being tested, and that's where the magic of rarity begins. Collectors know that what makes a coin valuable isn't just its age, it's the mistakes, the quirks, the oddities that make it stand out from billions of others. In the case of the 2016 1-cent coin, there are reports of versions struck on a different metal composition than intended, perhaps leftover from earlier test batches, resulting in pennies that are lighter, with an unusual golden hue or a metallic shimmer unlike the usual copper-plated zinc design. When examined under magnification, these coins reveal subtle doubling in the inscriptions, a phenomenon known as a double die error, where the design appears slightly duplicated because the die struck the planchet more than once but slightly misaligned. Imagine seeing two faint outlines of Lincoln's profile or doubled letters in the word Liberty or the date 2016, it's like a ghostly echo of the minting process frozen in metal, and collectors go wild for these anomalies. But that's only the beginning of what makes this coin so special. Some reports describe 2016 pennies with striking off-center designs, where Lincoln's face seems pushed toward the rim and part of the design is missing altogether, revealing blank metal space that wasn't properly struck by the die. This kind of off-center error often happens when the planchet isn't seated correctly in the press, and depending on how extreme the misalignment is, the coin's value can skyrocket from mere cents to thousands of dollars. Combine that with the possibility of an unintentional double strike, where the coin was struck twice by the press, and suddenly you've got a one-of-a-kind specimen. But then there's the mysterious rumor that one particular 2016 1-cent coin wasn't just a misstrike or die error but a coin that may have been struck on the wrong planchet entirely, possibly using a blank intended for a foreign coin or a different denomination. This theory arose when collectors discovered examples that weighed slightly different from the standard 2.5 grams of a zinc penny, suggesting that the wrong metal planchet somehow found its way into the press. These accidental compositions are exceedingly rare, and in numismatic terms, they can make the coin nearly priceless. Imagine a 2016 penny minted on a silver-colored planchet meant for a dime, with a faint outline of Lincoln's head on the wrong metal. Such a hybrid coin would be a once-in-a-lifetime find and could fetch astronomical prices at auction. And that's exactly what's believed to have happened with the legendary $511 million 2016 penny, a coin whose story has captivated both experts and amateurs alike. According to speculation, this coin exhibits multiple overlapping errors, a double die on both obverse and reverse sides, an off-center strike, and a mysterious metallic composition anomaly that's never been fully explained. Some even claim that it may have been a result of a brief experimental run at the mint involving a different alloy to test durability, making it a hybrid between two distinct minting eras. The combination of these factors, its rarity, uniqueness, and unrepeatable error sequence, has turned it into a mythical piece of currency lore. What's fascinating is how such errors occur in an environment as technologically advanced as the US Mint. Modern minting uses computer precision, laser-guided alignment, and quality control systems that make errors almost impossible, or so we think. Yet even the smallest deviation, a fraction of a millimeter in die placement or a brief power surge in the press, can create an anomaly. Sometimes the dies themselves wear down unevenly, leading to weak strikes or distorted imagery. Other times, grease or debris on the die surface prevents part of the design from transferring, creating what collectors call a die fill error, where parts of the coin appear faint or missing. A 2016 penny with a missing section of lettering or an incomplete image can become an instant treasure, especially if combined with other mistakes. Then there's the human element, maintenance workers, inspectors, and machine operators at the mint who might not notice a flaw slipping through because the differences are so subtle until after millions of coins have already been bagged and shipped out. Somewhere in those billions, a handful of mysterious coins begin their journey into circulation, waiting to be discovered by a lucky person who glances at their change and sees something unusual. The discovery of such a coin can set off a media frenzy, with collectors bidding outrageous amounts in private auctions. That's how a humble 2016 penny, barely worth a fraction of a dollar, became the subject of intense speculation, its rumored sale price reaching an unbelievable $511 million due to its unmatched combination of errors and its legendary backstory. Experts believe that part of its allure also comes from its aesthetic anomalies, tiny cracks running along the edge known as die breaks that create raised ridges or lines across Lincoln's face or coat. These natural scars of minting make each coin visually distinct, almost like a fingerprint. Under magnification, some examples reveal lamination errors where the copper plating has peeled or bubbled due to improper adhesion, giving the surface a blistered or rough texture. Others show striking color variations, from golden hues to deep reddish tones, caused by environmental exposure or inconsistencies in the metal mix during striking. When you combine these physical quirks with the coin's backstory of mystery and rarity, it's easy to see why collectors attach astronomical values to such pieces. It's not just metal, it's history, human imperfection, and the thrill of discovery all encapsulated in a single cent. What's even more incredible is that similar 2016 pennies with smaller errors have already been sold for thousands of dollars online, proof that collectors are constantly on the lookout for anomalies from that year. Some coins show a slight doubling in the word Liberty or the mint mark D or P placed oddly close to the rim. Others have subtle die rotations, meaning the reverse side is slightly twisted compared to the front. Even these minor differences can drastically increase value, depending on how visible and unique the error is. But what makes the rumored $511 million coin stand apart is not just its errors, it's the belief that it represents a once-in-a-generation minting mystery that defies explanation. Some numismatists speculate it may have originated from a test batch of new metal compositions being secretly evaluated for future coins, accidentally released before being destroyed. If that's true, then the coin isn't just an error, it's a piece of experimental US mint history, and that kind of provenance sends collectors into a frenzy. Imagine owning the only known surviving example of a secret mint experiment that escaped into the public. No wonder its value is beyond comprehension. The fascination with coins like this also taps into our collective love for hidden treasures. Every coin in your pocket could be holding a secret, a story, or a mistake that transforms it from ordinary to extraordinary. The 2016 Pennies story reminds us that fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or diamonds, it can come disguised as the smallest, most overlooked object. People who study coins spend years learning how to spot these clues: the thickness of the rim, the sharpness of the letters, the color of the surface under different lighting, even the sound a coin makes when dropped can reveal clues about its composition. Some rare 2016 pennies reportedly have a distinct tone when struck on a table, different from normal zinc cents, suggesting a metal mixture anomaly. Others have microscopic bubbles in the plating, tiny distortions invisible to the naked eye but glaring under magnification.